What's up, YouTube? I just want to welcome everybody back to my YouTube channel. I don't know why I get so nervous every time I start this, these videos out, but I just want to say that I really hope that I am making some sort of sense to you. I don't really open up like this, especially if it's a public thing. But it's something that I always wanted to do. It was something I knew that I felt like I had to do, and because I always come across certain people that are going through something, and the big heart that I have, I don't want to see them in that pain, so a little encouragement or a little motivation, or just like a little story time that I've been through, just to let them know that everything's gonna be okay. I know a lot of times we feel like, why isn't it my time? Why do I feel like I'm the only one who's being left out of everything that is going on? And we always question that, like, when is it gonna be my turn? It's not fair that everybody else is getting their blessings. And so that's when we start to kind of fall back on like the depression. You stress about things, or you feel like you're failing, or you just feel like giving up in a way. And I was always feeling that way, growing up. And me and my sisters, we'd always have that conversation, like, we don't understand how everybody else who isn't really doing anything, or isn't really trying to make anything in their lives, or anything that just happened, we see that it just kind of drops in front of them, excuse me. And something just always has to come up when we're trying to do something right, or do it the best way that we can. And but then I started to understand that whatever blessings that I have coming, I want to be ready for it. I want to be able to be in a place where I know I can handle it, to take it on. And I'm not trying to get famous, or I'm not trying to do any of that. I'm not trying to like be known, and like trying to do this for any type of like being famous, I guess, because I got questioned about that. But that's not what I want to do. That's not my intentions. It also helps me when I'm talking about it, and the more I progress, I also want to help others, anybody who's struggling, anybody who's feeling some type of way, because the reason I'm this person is because losing my mom and my dad, and not growing up with them, never having to feel that love, and a lot of times I always see that around me, like people that I know would call their moms and like, hey mom, like, what are you doing today? Or hey, can you come over? I'm not feeling too good, or you know what I mean? So I do have a mother figure. She's always been there for me since back in high school. And I was always afraid to feel like it's just not going to work out, or she may not love me as one of her own. I was always like doubting that situation, because from the time of growing up, from being into like a family who are like alcoholics, and like there's maybe some abuse going on, sexual abuse or neglect or any of that. And growing up in that type of environment, it really changed me of seeing the good in somebody else, you know? And I was always afraid to get hurt. I was always like just trying to keep to myself, and I was looking for that. I was looking for love, but I don't know what it is, you know? Because a lot of times you run into people who tell you that I love you and I want to be there for you and I'm always going to be here for you, but when it comes to a hard time, or when it just comes to a situation where you need them to like talk to them or whatever, and they're not there for you, they're not. And that's what pushed me away. That's what pushed me away from really trusting anyone. But you know, I started to understand later in life when I went through a situation of someone that I didn't know, who I thought was close to me as a family, because, you know, they've been around. And so for them to take advantage of me like that, it really changed a lot as far as you know, having these like issues of trusting someone, and like anger issues and insecurities, and that's what I was growing up with. And so it was so easy for me to push everybody else away, to block that out, and to be like, you know what, if they're not going to be my friend, or you know, if they don't want to be with me, or it's okay, you know, like I can move on, I can move forward. And I had this like wall up. And the more I started to understand that I had to forgive these individuals who did, you know, these horrible things to me, it was holding me back. It was holding me back from trusting, from understanding what love is, from being happy, from, you know, not being afraid. And I forgave them. Not in person, but, you know, I prayed about it. I asked God to forgive them for what they've done, because I was tired of that. I was tired of, you know, waking up knowing that I was out here alone, struggling, and going through all these things by myself, you know. And so in order for me to move on from that, I had to forgive, you know, people who has done me wrong in the past. That doesn't mean that I hate them now, or I'm wishing bad things on them. You know, I'm always praying for them. I always am. And that's just the love that I know that I had deep down. And that's a different side of me of having a big heart. You know, a lot of times when people do bad things to me, but I always, you know, try to just make sure that they're okay. You know what I mean? Not like throwing it back in their face or anything. It's just, I have my limits of that love, I should say. So, you know, like I said, my ex-mother-in-law, she, you know, she started showing that to me. She started being there for me, and I've been through a lot with her, and, you know, I'm happy that she's in my life. And now, like when I call her, I can say that to her. I can say, Mom. And we're starting to feel like she is, because you know, she's been there for my kids. And even though they're not her grandkids, but she accepted them as her own. And I thank God for that. I do, because none of my family, they don't ever call, they don't ever, you know, really ask about them. It's because of me keeping them away from that, from them. And but when I see them, it's just, you know, the anger starts to build up in a way. But at the same time, I know it's just, that's not who I am. It's not. And I made peace with that, you know. I question it at times. Like, sometimes I really wish that they would just like reach out, be like, hey, you know, I know we haven't talked in a while. I just want to check on you, see how you doing, you know, how your kids doing. And but mainly, I have my siblings, my ex-mother-in-law and her family, you know. And I have this like small circle. And I've really seen a lot of things where people turn around on you, you know. They talk behind your back, and now I understand that God eliminated them from my life because he knew, you know, what they were saying when I wasn't around. And the fact that if someone else heard this other person talking about me, you know, they never said like, hey, you don't know her, you don't know what she's been through. Or if you wanted to say something, you know, say something positive, say something good, because I'm not anything, not perfect, I know that. But that's not where my heart is, you know, like to be wishing bad things upon other people, because I grew up with that. And I know how ugly it can make you look. I know how ugly it can make you feel. And just, you know, it's not a good thing. I carried that weight around for a long time, knowing that it just wasn't worth it, you know. And it's okay. It's okay, because sometimes people that you never knew, they would come into your life for a reason. And it's kind of crazy because it does happen, you know, at the right time, at the right moment, when you're really needing someone. And it does happen. And I don't have a lot of that, but it has happened. And I'm really grateful. And every day I'm praying for them, you know. And I pray for everybody else. And I ain't sitting here like, you know, wondering if they're talking about me or hating on me, or, you know, worried about what anybody else is saying about me. Because nobody's ever going to take the time to sit down and talk to you unless there's some sort of connection. And you know, everything that I have been through, I have had someone else tell me, like, I've been in that situation, and it's good to hear from somebody else that they also been through that. And they like to understand what you've been through and how you're getting through it. And that's just, you know, where I'm coming from, I should say. I don't know how I would explain that. It's just, but you know, that's just how I feel, you know. And I just want everybody else to know that even though you feel like it's just not your time, or life is just not fair. It's not like that. And I know something good, something great is going to happen for you. And it will. Whether you believe that or not. But I do. And I feel that now. I feel that now. That things are just going to be okay, You don't have to worry about anything. Of course, it comes, to your mind sometimes that you're stressing about if you're going to get this job, or if you're going to get a home, or, if you're just thinking about any type of situation that you're going through, But at the end of the day, I always wake up and tell God, thank you for another day. Thank you for giving me the strength to wake up, to feel good about myself, to have you in my life, to just give me that, strength to be strong. Because I know He's always there for me, and He is going to be there for you. He is always going to be there for you. He ain't forgot about you. He's not, trying to put all these bad situations in your life, like to punish you. It's not like that. These things take time. You got to be patient. You got to trust Him. You got to trust God. And I know the reason why I don't judge anyone is because if it was so easy for me to judge, how would that make me feel to be in that position of choosing between my kids, like who's the one who's gonna be the good one, or who's gonna be the one, the bad one, who's gonna go to hell or go to heaven, or you know what I mean? You can't do that. And of course nobody's not gonna be wanting to choose that, because it's always gonna be you're the one who's making that sacrifice as a parent to make the best of it for them, to do what's right, to show them love, to show them that, this is who you are, and they see that in you. They see how strong you can be. And that's also the example that I want to be for my own. And I'm still growing. I am. I'm still learning, and I just know something good is ahead of me. And I'm not gonna feel that pain anymore. And I'm not gonna I'm not gonna be, putting myself down anymore either. Because I'm all that I have. There's nobody else like me. There's nobody else like me. What goes on in here, what goes on right here, everything else, there's only one. And I thank God for everything He's given me, for everything that He's put into making me, And I just wanted to talk about that. I just hope everybody out there is being safe, keeping your head up, chest out. Keep God first.